Sonic Movie 3, it's finally here. It's the day before it released, actually. It's the 19th. It comes out on the 20th, but they did an early screening fan event type thing. I went to one of them, and man, let's just jump right into it. This is going to be full of spoilers. I'm going to warn you guys, like, ahead of time, which is right now. I'm warning you right now, literally. There's going to be a ton of spoilers because I just can't hold myself back, and I don't want to, like, say a little thing, and then someone goes, oh, that's a spoiler. That's something I would consider a spoiler. I don't want to, like, have to deal with that. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, go see the movie and then come back to this video later. Leave your tab open or save it to your bookmarks. Come back later, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, now we're talking about it. So that was your warning. We're going to just jump right into it. We're going to be doing two videos. This is part one. In part one, we're going to talk about Sonic Movie 3. Is it the best in the trilogy? And we're going to kind of compare it to the other two movies. And in the second part, we'll talk about those two after credits scenes. Which, yeah, we're not going to mention those too much in this video. But if you are interested in hearing me discuss that, stay tuned for part two. Okay, so as a whole, I would say that it is the best of the three. We're jumping right to the point there, but I would say that it is the best of the three Sonic movies. It's really weird to like watch this one and then look back on the first one like, wait, the first one was like a buddy cop like comedy movie road trip type thing where it's like Sonic, who they always just refer to as like, he's this alien, insert character here. Like they could have just replaced him with any other character and it would have been the same movie, which they did. Isn't like Hop the same thing? I'll put the photos on screen that everyone always compares of like James Marsden and like this CGI character. Anyway, that was a good movie, and I think that that was the first like stepping stone that we needed so that people could see, like a video game movie could actually be pretty good. And oh, a Sonic movie could be pretty good, even though there wasn't much like Sonic in it. I don't know. That movie was really held up by the dynamic between like Sonic and James Marsden, and then Eggman would kind of pop in every now and again, and then they had like their big fight at the end, and that was kind of that was the whole movie. But then with the second movie, they tried to like push the humans to the side more and like focus on the Sonic characters more, and then it ended up being this weird blend of like some human scenes, some like really intense Sonic scenes, like the Supersonic scene at the end of that movie, and they had the Eggman Robo and Knuckles popping in and all sorts of things going on. But I think that with the second movie, they were still like trying to get it right. They were still trying to like make a blend of both like the human scenes and Sonic scenes that like made sense together. Whereas in this movie, I feel like this is the first time where we got a true Sonic movie. This is like all the way through, it's a Sonic movie, constant references throughout. They like quote things from the games. Like I forget what the stupid line is in the beginning of City Escape, like, oh, this is low budget flights, no food or movies, I'm out of here. Sonic literally like says that in one scene in the movie, which is nice. Like I love those fan service moments like that. Eggman like gets a call at one point and it's like the I am the Eggman, like a little snippet from it. One thing everyone was wondering, and this is a major spoiler, is Live and Learn going to be in the movie? It is in the movie, and they had little like instrumental versions of it throughout the movie, like different styles, like orchestral ones and different things. But then the moment right at the end, the big action scene at the end of the movie where Super Sonic and Super Shadow are like trying to save the day, yeah, Live and Learn does come on, and it's the version with lyrics, although they did make this like weird mashed up version to like fit the scene, but it is in the movie, the song that we know and love, which is crazy that it's actually there, because I was kind of worried that it would just be that like instrumental version and then they would give us that and go, like we gave you your stupid Live and Learn, like there you go, you know. That's enough to satisfy you guys, right? But no, we wanted that Crush 40, Johnny, our boy Johnny in there, and they were in there for that little portion of the movie. I think they actually used it twice. Like they used it for the big moment, and then like later on they had like a scene of like Super Shadow and Super Sonic fighting robots in space, and they're like, live and learn. They just like all of a sudden like played like a little snippet of it again. I'm like, okay, like, well, you just played it, but sure, like I'll take it again. What was really cool was that when I went to go see the movie, there were Sonic fans in the theater, so when Super Shadow, or you know, Shadow turned into Super Shadow in the movie, everyone was cheering and clapping, and when Live and Learn played, everyone was cheering and clapping, so that was really cool to kind of be a part of that moment. But something that was really, really strange about my screening that I went to was that the movie got cut off. The movie got cut off midway. In the middle of the movie, there's like, I don't know if it's exactly in the middle, but there's a montage scene of like Shadow and Maria bonding kind of thing. It's actually really nice the way that they did it, because in the video games they didn't really flesh out the bond between Shadow and Maria very much. Like Maria was kind of this like one-dimensional character I found in the games, but in this movie they really like fleshed her out and made her seem like, oh, she's this fun kid, you know, that Shadow gets to bond with. Which is really cool. But anyway, we were watching that montage, and then all of a sudden the screen cuts to black, and I just hear just this sudden like beeping comes on. It's like a fire alarm, and the lights turn on. Supposedly someone pulled the fire alarm during the Maria scene. I don't know, like it was completely unrelated. They were just elsewhere in the movie theater, and they just like pulled a prank or something, or I don't know, for some reason pulled the fire alarm. So the employees of the movie theater right away saw that it was someone who just like pulled it and like dipped. So instantly, like they came in and they said, oh no, don't worry, like it was just someone who pulled the fire alarm, we're getting the power back on, and the movie's gonna come back on. And then we just waited for literally like 15 to 20 minutes for them to put the movie back on. And then once they did, they just restarted that whole like Maria bonding scene with Shadow, and I was like, okay, I guess we're watching this again from the start, but whatever, let's go. And what was so funny was that I saw the first screening of these like fan events, like these Sonic Movie 3 fan events. So the two screenings that were scheduled after mine got like pushed back like 20 to 30 minutes. Well, maybe it was like 15 to 20, I don't know. But by the time we left the theater, people were like waiting outside the theater like, oh, is it our turn to go in? Like we're waiting for our screening. Like everything got delayed. But that was kind of crazy, to be honest. I'm trying to think of like what else was a notable part of this movie. They had like a lot of cheesy moments where they're trying to build up the dynamic between the characters. Of course, like we're a family, we stick together, we're Team Sonic, we're like the Wachowskis or whatever, we're sticking together, you know. And then on the other side you had like Team Dark, I guess, of like Eggman, Gerald, Shadow, and Eggman's assistant, the goat milk guy. Shout out to Lee. But they really tried to play off that like good versus evil, you know, making good decisions versus making bad decisions and where it can take you kind of thing. And it's never too late to make the right decision. Like they really tried to play off that message, which was a nice message, to be honest, but it's hard to like convey that message without it just being like super cornball, which it was kind of whatever. Overall, I think that Keanu Reeves did a good job as Shadow, but he had certain moments where he struggled, like when he was trying to get very like emotional or something with Maria. Like I remember he had one specific line where they're like sitting in the grass looking up at the stars, and he says to Maria something like, do you think I'm dangerous? Because he's like, everyone's treating me that way, like in the like gun base. And it's just hard to hear him like say that line and to not like laugh, kind of just like it's Keanu Reeves' voice saying that, like, do you think I'm dangerous? Like I don't know, like it's hard to pull that one off. So there were certain moments like that where it's like a little bit cheesy, but that's kind of as to be expected with a Sonic movie, right? They're not like doing self-aware like Sonic Boom type humor. They're trying to be like, hey, yeah. Right away something comes to my mind, like there was a freaking moment where Sonic's like supersonic and he's saying, gotta go fast, and then like Shadow's like, oh, you got a catchphrase, and then he's like, yeah, and everyone loves it. I'm like, like they're trying to be somewhat self-aware, but it was just like bad. Like I don't know. Overall, I do think that this was the best movie of the three, though. They just like really gave us exactly like what we wanted. They didn't follow the like Sonic Adventure 2 storyline down to a T, but that's kind of as to be expected. Like there was no city escape or anything in this movie. They had Prison Island, which is really cool. The movie starts off with Prison Island, which is like direct Sonic like fan service, really nice. They don't really like explain how Gerald's like still alive, because he's like, this guy's old as dirt, but he's just somehow still here, just still kicking. And I'm gonna spoil something. Gerald like dies, but he dies on the most hilarious way where he's trying to like kill Eggman and like drop him off of the ark. And then Tails and Knuckles appear through a portal and like lift him back up. And Eggman still has one of Sonic's like quills. And at this point, Sonic is like supersonic. So I don't know if it's like a super powered quill or whatever. It's like glowing gold. He just like pokes Gerald. He just pokes Gerald's butt with the friggin' quill. Gerald goes flying and like goes into this like chaos energy vortex kind of thing, and then he just like dies, but they put like basically a fart sound. It wasn't like a fart sound, but it was very close to a fart sound, just like a brr, and then he just like dies. I'm like, yo, they killed this man, but in the funniest way possible. It was actually so good that they did it like that. Like they built him up as like he's the villain that like Eggman kind of has to fight against Gerald to save the world. But they just kill him off in like the most ridiculous way possible, which I thought was like too good. It was too perfect. So I'm glad that they had moments like that where they weren't taking it too seriously. Like at one point, Eggman and Gerald both have like this tech where they can just like summon whatever they want. Like if they want a giant metal boxing glove, they can just like punch that in and like that'll appear kind of thing. So at one point, Gerald like summons these like scorpion weapons where he has like scorpion claws and like a tail that could attack, that he can use to attack Eggman with. And then Eggman summons like, I forget what, like praying mantis claws. So he's like doing a praying mantis style, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so good, because it's just Jim Carrey versus Jim Carrey. So it's just like both of them being hilarious, like back and forth, which is really awesome. Like it's one of those things where in interviews he was saying like, you don't know that you need this until you see it, because you can never like imagine this like, oh yeah, you know, Jim Carrey dresses Eggman and Jim Carrey dresses older Eggman and they're fighting each other with like a praying mantis style and like a scorpion style. You would never like imagine that in your head until you see it on screen. You're like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is so good. I do want to talk a bit about Tails and Knuckles, because they had certain scenes where they were kind of mentioning like, oh, we're team Sonic, we're such a good team. But then they didn't have very much focus on Tails or Knuckles. There were so many characters in the movie that some of them had to kind of be pushed to the side at certain points. I feel like they had like an obligation to like James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, like they had to have them in the movie a certain amount of time. So there were certain scenes of them like together, or certain scenes of them trying to invade the gun base, and it's like strictly human. So for the human characters, they tried to like give them their own unique scenes where they could just really shine. But characters like Tails and Knuckles didn't really have that. I found like it was always like shots of Sonic or Shadow, and then Tails or Knuckles would just like come in with some other character, like when they're saving Eggman, or different scenes like that where they would just suddenly pop in to like talk to Sonic or whatever. But they didn't have like their own unique moments where they got to, you know, they became the focus. That's one thing that I would like them to kind of fix in the future. Like have moments where Sonic isn't the main focus. Like maybe Knuckles can be the main focus for a little while, or Tails can be the main focus, because I get that everyone is there to see like Sonic, Shadow, so like they take up the majority of the movie, but I would like for it to be a little more balanced. That's my like one gripe. Honestly, I would rate this movie like an 8 out of 10. It was pretty great. For Sonic Movie 1, I think it's like a 7 out of 10. For Sonic Movie 2, I would say like 7.5 is slightly better. Like not much better, but slightly better. And then this one, I'd bump it up to an 8. And they actually just announced Sonic 4, so hopefully that's going to be like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 or a 9.5, whatever. And hopefully we'll be able to get to the premiere for that one. We didn't make it to the blue carpet or whatever. It's a red carpet movie premiere in LA, but they did like a blue carpet because it's Sonic, of course. We didn't get invited to that, unfortunately, because yeah, our channel's not big enough. But hopefully by the time that Sonic Movie 4 comes out in 2027, it's so long. I mean, it's about to be 2025, but man, 2027, we're getting Sonic 4. Hopefully by then we'll be on the blue carpet and we'll be repping the Cat Club, checking that movie out on the premiere. So I'm really excited for what's to come. We are going to talk about those 2 end credit scenes in another video, but let me know in the comment section down below, have you seen Sonic Movie 3 and what did you think about it? I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to be replying to some people in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to your boy. As always, we're trying to reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers, and once we do, I have a crazy amount of surprises for you guys planned. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to be here once we hit that mark. At the end of this video, we're going to have 3 handpicked videos on screen. Be sure to check one of them out. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll love. But anyway, I'll see you guys in part 2. And I guess that's it. So take it easy. Peace, 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 peace.